Hello, citizen developers. In this lesson, we will learn how to build a template and sell on this platform. Of course, selling is disabled right now, but right now we can start sharing it. And the selling aspect would be enabled pretty soon. But for now, how do you build templates? What is a template, by the way, right? If you go to templates here, for example, you see many templates and it shows you the name of the template and the description of the template and who is the architect for that and what company they're from, for example. So let's say use this software development agile template. I click on this. So a template is nothing but a set of processes, right? That you actually could use for that particular business domain. Say, for example, now this is for software development, for example, and you have processes like a project, a meeting, a user story, daily scrum meeting, um, a defect, and a sprint. You could have more. If you want, you can add a few more here, for example. And you know how to build, individual processes. And this is about, you know, building a set of processes and then packaging them and sharing them, for example, or selling, right? So now, since I published this, so I could unpublish this. See, this is why showing me this. If you look at this, if you open this template, it's gonna show you different buttons. It will probably have a button that says import. So you could actually import that for yourself and then start using it, right? And of course, you could also kind of, make your own YouTube video and then uh, you know, uh, um, share it in this. For example, if I go here uh, on this particular build button, I'm in templates, trying to build a template, give it a name. Say, for example, let's say software development. If you want to build something like what I had there, right? And then give it a description here. This template has processes that help in the SDLC process, right? Um, let's say, okay. So then you have to, this drop down here brings all processes that you have built. You are the original owner for this. Otherwise, you will not see anything here if you don't have anything, right? So you just go and let's say mark these things, and maybe this, for example, right? Once you mark it, and you can actually put a business category here. You can go to IT or software. You can also put all in general has all of them, right? You could do that. Or if there's a software here, let's say there's IT or something, right? Telecom, not this one. Warehousing, maybe there's information technology right here. You could do that, right? Mm. Or if you just want to, put it in general, that's fine. It's not a big deal because people can search for it, they'll always find it. And you can give the URL of your video that you created that is going to discuss about how to use this, these policies, for example, and then save, right? Now, you this checkbox is for something else altogether, right? Um, this is generally speaking, when you have your own processes created, you would have yourself and other team members who are testing, for example, would be listed as, let's say, the task performers, approvers, and reviewers, for example. When you publish something, the system will remove all of those, your, let's say, user IDs, your email, stuff like that, right? And this one is saying you want to preserve it. In some cases, you want to preserve the person who will review the work and who will approve the work, for example. This would be useful in some cases. Let's say a university is kind of, teaching, a university teaching program, for example, if they want people to download templates and answer some questions and then have it reviewed by the people at the university itself, for example. In those cases, you want to preserve the person who will review and approve their work, for example, right? So, so let's go and see here. Again, go back to how to set up. You have seen this already, right? Let's choose something else. Let's say user story, for example, right? Definition. Let's say user story is the smallest unit of work in Agile, right? SGLC represents a piece of work that can be independently verified, right? And then once you save this, go to next steps. Step number one, for the story details, for example, do the same exact thing that you've done before. So the only difference here is that you would build these policies, right, from scratch, right? Again, it's not going to take much time for you. So you can spend a day and build a whole suite of policies for one business domain, for example, right? You could do it in a day. It's not a big deal. It doesn't take much time, right? And you just package them, create a template, and then post it, and then share it, or have your clients use it, for example, right? So that's about it. How do you create a suite of policies um, in one day, right? This is all no code basis. You don't have to have special coding done here because all you're doing is collecting data for different things, and there's task routing, of course. Who needs to do what, for example, it has to be defined. Say, for example, if you have, let's say, let's go here and look at that, for example, those roles, right? So let's say user story. Let me see if there is something here for this coding. There's coding here. I have only one person here. So you could have multiple people here. You can now just add one more person to code, for example, right? And routing would actually take care of it. I don't know if we spoke about routing before. Routing is, let's say, if you have something like this here, right? This step right now is assigned to you, right? Let's see. So here, which means you'll work on this, right? Whereas other steps here are not assigned yet. Like this one is not assigned yet. Doesn't mean you can't work on it. You can always work on it. But then if you want to follow a certain workflow where one person does the work followed by the next person, right? Then we could use this, statuses. So assigned is, status means you will work on it. Once you work on it, once you're done working on that, you'll mark it completed, save it. Then the next person, the next step would actually see it assigned right here. So when you see assigned, then you can work on it as the next step, and so forth, right? So that's about the task routing, right? Um, and also there's one more feature here where you could actually have this process triggers. Let's say you complete a process. Let's use something. Which one can I do? Maybe I could do a user story or maybe defect. Is there a deployment task here or a process here? I don't know. There is something. Let's say you complete a defect, right? Once it is completed, you want to trigger one more process, right? Which could be user story doesn't make sense here. It could be a deployment activity, a deployment, process. If we have something like that, you could always mark it over here and then save it. So this is when it completes properly, but then it could also get canceled or rejected, for example, which is a negative process termination. In that case, you could, you know, instantiate or create a different process altogether. It will create all tasks and send out the tasks to those uh, task performers in their dashboards. All right, so that's about it. Primarily the templates and a couple of features that we covered today. And that's all for today. You have a good rest of day. See you in the next lesson.